Welcome everyone. My name is Niven, and today I am doing questions and answers. As I announced on Friday, I was going to let you ask me some questions in the comment section and I would answer them. Of course, there's been 2 days since then, and today is Monday, so the video is coming up. This is it. So let's see your questions. Let's start. Question number 1. My simple question, ... smiley face. Which is your favorite horror movie? Thanks so much for asking me that question. My favorite horror movie, I would say, is Let the Right One In. It is a Swedish horror movie about a vampire girl who is struggling with a lot in the movie, and they made an American version which is not my favorite in particular. I love Swedish, the original version, and that's probably my favorite movie because it's it's very subtle that the plot and the characters are so meaningful and they give such an amazing performance, of course, but the movie overall is very visceral and it shows some true horror as of what the roots of horror are, like where they come from. They come from the terror, they come from our own imagination, our own perception of things, and yeah, that's my favorite movie. If you want me to talk more about this movie, you can leave the comment down below and I will. If you want me to talk more about horror in general, I will talk about that too. So leave a comment down below. I hope you are satisfied with your answer. Question number 2. Do you prefer developing games or playing them more? That's a good question. Thank you. I would say developing games is more fun because you are so creative in a way that you can actually make anything you want. You can make any type of game you want, but for me in particular, making horror games, I'm more invested in how my personal ideas are projected and how they are perceived by the player, and maybe something that I'm coming up with, how would they react to that? So I would say developing games is more fun, although I must say that playing them is much easier because developing games, it's a lot of work. You need constantly to be pushing yourself and trying not to be lazy. And of course, nowadays there are so many game engines that you can choose from, and yet I used to make games on the Blender game engine, which isn't active anymore, and nowadays I'm trying to keep up with more modern engines, so I'm working on it, and I hope my next game will be interesting. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah. So next question. Next question is, what's your favorite game of all time, lads? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for asking that. I would say my favorite game of all times is BioShock, the third one. Why BioShock 3? Well, it's the same with the horror movie, like what's your best horror movie? It's very personal, it's very subjective. I wouldn't say that BioShock 3 is the best game of all time, but for me, BioShock 3 has a very special place. I played BioShock 3 a long time ago, and I was very intrigued and very invested in the story, and it's much more than just science fiction, time travel, fantasy game. I would say the core of its plot is very deep, and it was very interesting for me, and at that time when I played it, it was so so much impactful. Overall, that's my favorite game, but I would say other games, if you would ask me what are my other favorite games, I would say Firewatch is amazing, brilliantly executed game with all the visuals. I would say the other greatest game is The Witcher, The Wild Hunt, of course, one of my favorite all-time favorite games, even though I haven't finished the game or I haven't gotten that far in the game, but it has so much uniqueness to it, and it's so big. And I would say there are some other favorite games which I can't recall all by name, and mostly I love indie games rather than big company names. But I would say yes, Bioshock is probably the best game that I have enjoyed and played many times, of course, not only once. Alright, next question. Hello, I have two questions. Oh, one, do you prefer horror over other genres in general? And two, what type of content do you want to make more? Playthroughs or reviews? Thanks, good channel. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for asking two questions. I'm very glad. And thank you for liking my channel. Thank you very much. Let's start with the first question. If I prefer horror over other genres in general, no, I don't prefer horror because there are other genres that I love more, like adventure and survival. Nowadays, survival and horror mostly go together, which is odd, and yet it's kind of understandable. But I would say survival games as if having a third person view or having a first person view. Any survival games, I enjoy them very much. Also, adventure games, I love those. And, of course, I do love some horror. But yeah, I do not prefer horror over other genres. It's just horror is not that easy to make, and therefore some games are very interesting in the way they put the genre. And there are some other subgenres of horror, of course. There are slashers, there are ghost games, there are survival games, as I mentioned before. So I would say other games are much more fun to play, but the horror is in general, it's okay. And the second question that you asked in the comment was, what type of content do I want to make more? If it's playthroughs or reviews, it's kind of difficult because I love playthroughs and I got used to playthroughs. Although my first ever post was about my game trailer, the game that I made, and then I started doing those playthroughs, non-commentary playthroughs, and I then started, I remember one playthrough, it was a commentary playthrough, and I think it had not so many views, and I decided let's just keep it quiet. But then I started doing the commentary playthroughs, and I felt better. I felt more confident doing those, and I hope one day maybe I will make videos with the face cam. So yeah, back to your question. I love reviewing different topics. I love making a general topic and putting my own spin to it. Let's say that I love expressing my own experience towards certain topics, and I love reviews, yes. And I also love just doing some general gaming videos, like maybe, I don't know, maybe in the future I would make a game devlog or maybe some other vlog. I don't know, who knows. But anyways, for now, just to keep it going, and of course I also do have a job in clinic, yes, if you were wondering. and I do work every other day, sometimes once in 3 days, and it's 24-hour shifts. So I would rather spend more time at my work and be more focused and just do random playthroughs. But who knows? Maybe if the channel grows, more and more, I will do reviews or other things too. And that's it. Those are all the questions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you are satisfied with your questions. I would say there was also one question that I didn't get to answer because the comment was deleted, so I apologize for that. And it's YouTube doing some hiding comments for some reason. I don't know why. So that person who posted the question, the comment was deleted. So I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. Maybe if you want, ask me that question again, and maybe I'll answer it in the next video, which probably would be a gaming video. So yeah, thank you for much again. Thanks, and yeah, I hope this was somewhat entertaining for some of you at least. Thank you so much once again, and have a good day.